Time. Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. This is the live watch along, and we are watching Bundesliga game between Werder Bremen and Bayer Leverkusen. I'm joined by the one and only Garry Curran.
How you
There's our
doing? Oh,
Bundesliga expert.
this isn't Irish football. What are we doing this?
Yeah, something different. But yeah, it's just great to have football back. And we just said we'd do something live. It's mad seeing them all there with the masks walking out, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think the Bundesliga have done the first weekend of football in Europe that we've seen, and it looks pretty good. Like obviously some of the stuff is very pure. Like the players sitting on the bench far away from each other is a bit of a stunt. But like you like this, it's good. It's important to do that kind of stuff as well. But it seemed to have gone all swimmingly on Saturday and Sunday, and I think this game is actually one of the big games, obviously with the Dortmund Schalke game on the other day. This is another big game for the weekend as well because both these teams really do need a win. So we'll see how it pans out. We'll go through a couple of the players as well. If you are a fan of the Bundesliga, you're absolutely living the dream at the moment because it's the first league back. And it is a good league to be watching as well because there's a bit of a tight race. There's plenty of spots up for grabs and there's also a relegation battle as well. So I'm happy football's back.
Yeah, 100%. And as you mentioned, with the just having football back is great. And obviously they picked a great game between Dortmund and Schalke, and Dortmund were unbelievable against Schalke and wiped the floor with them. I think it was nice as well to see great football on show. You could see towards the end, obviously the fitness was kicking in. It was quite tiring for them, but yeah, well, obviously as well, Premier League teams are allowed to start getting back training now as well. So I think having the Bundesliga back has been the poster and the model for everybody else to follow now. And I think you'll see a lot more leagues following suit, at least just getting back training for now and then seeing what happens. But I don't think Irish football will be returning anytime soon until we're going to hear more. There's some doctors coming out and saying this and that, but it just want some clarification, and obviously they're testing out, aren't they, from today, the phase one and stuff like that.
Do you think
Um,
it is easier for these big leagues to do this and these big teams to actually get back into the rhythm because they can afford all these tests? There was talk of even the Premier League doctors doing between now and the end of the season like something like 60,000 tests. That's what they predicted that the league will need. So you can imagine the Bundesliga should be around the same. I think they have. It was before this weekend. They had 82 games to play altogether. Of course, they all have 9 games left, but so they do need that, and I don't think the Irish League can afford having all those tests. And football is football, so they'd need the same amount, or we have to wait it out and see does this pandemic get a little bit better. And I think obviously that's what they're going to be doing. But I would be very surprised if we saw fans at a ground in 2020. But look, you can always hope. You never know. You absolutely never know. But it is nice, like you said, to have some sort of football back. It's been 10 weeks now without any live football of note. Now, I know there's been a couple of leagues going around and people have been putting bets on some ridiculous leagues all over the world. But it's actually nice to have one of Europe's top 5 leagues back. And I say that this is Europe's top 3 leagues. Definitely, Bundesliga over the last couple of seasons have been gunning for that top spot with the Premier League and with La Liga. Even you see the Bundesliga teams how well they've been doing in the Champions League. Like Bayern Munich absolutely destroyed Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and Leipzig brushed aside Spurs no bother. And those are 2 big English teams that were beaten by Bundesliga teams. So in the next couple of seasons, I think we actually discussed this and talked about this months ago when live football was a thing, that the Bundesliga could be a fantastic place for young Irish players to go because there's been a couple of British players over there now. And we don't just mean the big ones like Jadon Sancho, but there is a couple of heads knocking about the place in the Bundesliga. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, in the next 82 games, we'll see a couple of Irish and British and whatever players making their name for themselves, because there will be a lot of football and there will be a lot of rotation. Because I can guarantee you right now that players are going to be diagnosed with coronavirus. It is going to happen, but I don't think anyone knows what they're going to do. I presume they'll just treat them as maybe injured players and have them isolated and stuff like that. So I don't know. What's going to happen when that happens. But for the moment, we're just enjoying the live football. We're enjoying Bremen and Leverkusen, which has kicked off. And we'll discuss a couple of the big players that are playing today. And a lot of them, 2, 3 maybe players here have been linked with big Premier League clubs. Kai Havertz been linked with like every Man United and Liverpool and anyone like that. And he's playing up front today. He's not actually a striker. He's playing up front for Leverkusen today because they have Kevin Volland out. And I don't think they're trusting Alario with the with the role at the moment. He's an Argentinian lad. We'll see him though today. Very good player. They have a fella called Demirbay. Leverkusen do their number 10 there who might get the ball, and the lad on the ball now, Diaby. He's a young gun, and they have Ezekiel Palacios on the bench as well, who we might see today. Some really very interesting young talent on display. And for Bremen, on the far side of that, then they have 2 players that if you see them play, it's a joy watching them. Rziska and Egelstein, 2 good players now. I presume, if I know form is something to go by, but Leverkusen should be winning this game, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought that was quite funny the other day when Steve McManaman, the first thing he said was like, "Oh, Dortmund are in great form, and Schalke need to pick up a win because they haven't had a win in so long." I'm like, mate, football's not been played for like 3 months. Like,
I understand why he was doing it. He wanted to just make things as normal as possible, but you have to know not to say form. Like, form does not come into this at all. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Look, let him off. He said,
and form never comes into it on a derby either.
Never. Yeah, you're right. I will say this though: Steve McManaman has said weirder and stranger things than that, so we have to let him off.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was funny. I remember, and then people were tweeting about it. I just thought it was gas. But like I think the UFC was the first thing to come back, and then it was football with the Bundesliga, and as I said earlier, teams are looking to get back and train. But I think it's like 5 players in a group, but they're not allowed to actually be in contact with each other. Like, so they all have to be social distanced, not touching a ball, and like not tackling each other, type of thing. Yeah. So I don't know. It's probably just all fitness work in groups of 5 by the sounds of it.
Like, that's what the Bundesliga started with. That they started with 1 or 2 players coming into the training grounds and doing bits, and if someone was in the gym, the other was on the pitch, and vice versa. But and then eventually more and more players started integrating. Like La Liga starting today actually started training, or is it tomorrow? Started training with 10 players, so they're getting 10 players back now. So they're slowly integrating normality back in football training grounds. So it's just a case of time, really. Like, because I actually don't think that England are ready to have the Premier League back, but I feel that they're under a lot of pressure with the likes of La Liga, even Serie A, and the German league, of course, not only getting back to football, but also just going back training and stuff like that. And I think they're under a little bit of pressure, and there's a little part of me that thinks they might be doing it a little bit prematurely. But look, once they're back, we'll find out. We'll know, because they have made the decision to come back anyway. But we'll see what happens. But have you been, Paul? Were you watching any of the other Bundesliga games over the weekend?
I actually wasn't. I meant to watch obviously Wolfsburg, because I'm diehard Wolfsburg fan now. But I didn't know. I didn't actually watch. I watched the Dortmund one and Schalke, and then so I was getting all this set up. So I kind of got a new bits of gear, camera, a mic, chair, a desk, and all to do these types of things. So I've just kind of been focused on doing them, and we had some other videos. Actually, the lads had a great video last night on the managerial reigns, the previous reigns with Owen Hand and John Giles, and it was just kind of mad how things went back then. So I think anyone who's watching will be interested to see that when it goes out. It'll probably be out tomorrow or the next day, and it was a good. I had to do editing with the Roy O'Donovan podcast, which is a really good one as well. He's obviously playing for the Newcastle Jets in Australia, but he used to play for Cork City, and Roy Keane signed him at Sunderland, and just a really good story. And like, the good thing about all these podcasts, the lads are all very honest about everything. They don't really hold back, and they do say, they recognise that when they were younger they were little bollockses, and they admit it. So it's great when they actually come clean and be 100% honest. And I think fans love listening to that type of stuff. I think if you get a chance, give that one a listen, obviously after this video. But if you want some comments to feature in the video, why not get your comments in now, and we'll discuss some things while we're watching the game. And if you don't know what channel it's on BT Sport 1 right now, live.
And it looks like Leverkusen are bossing this game at the moment. As expected, though, Leverkusen are the team that are going for a Champions League spot, and Bremen are the team that are trying to fight for their survival. I said to Paul, as a die-hard Everton fan, and I'm not insulting you by saying that Bremen are a bit of an Everton of the Bundesliga. And I mean that not in the way that they're in the bottom 3, but the fact that they are just, when you think of the Bundesliga and you ask someone to name 5-6 teams in the Bundesliga, Werder Bremen are always one of those ones. So they're under a lot of pressure. to stay in the league. Now they have the players to do it, which is strange, because they have the likes of, you can even see him there on the bench if you're watching it from home. Nuri Sahin is there. He's been around the block a few times, played for Liverpool, Real Madrid. He was linked to Arsenal, played for Dortmund, of course. They have Selik, who is a long-time striker of theirs, who has scored a couple of goals in his first stint at the club, moved to Berlin, and then Hertha Berlin, and then in January moved back and hasn't really hit the heights. I think they're just going through a run of bad luck, not even bad form, because obviously form's not a thing, but they've just been having some bad luck. Richarlison, the man who flicked the ball back there, and they're number 7, and Eggestein are the ones to watch. Richarlison has actually been tipped to replace Jadon Sancho at Dortmund if he was to leave. So, he's highly rated, so there is some big players in that Bremen team that can get them out of the bottom 3, and they have the players to do it, and they have the time to do it, which is an important thing as well. But we'll just see. There's a couple of teams around them that are worse than them as well. Like, obviously Paderborn are going to be more than likely going down unless they have a miracle there in the bottom spot at the moment. There's a couple of teams in trouble as well, but we'll see if I would love to see Bremen stay in the league, because there's some really good players there. There's some fantastic fans and a really nice stadium, but not looking good for them at the moment. But still plenty of time to change. So, yeah.
How do you know so much about the Bundesliga? Like, what's your what's the background there behind knowing so much about Bundesliga?
Well, how do you know so much about the Premier League?
Well, that's like the Bundesliga is not as, I suppose, accessible as the Premier League, and I actually have a team in the Premier League, whereas obviously. Well, now I do with the Bundesliga, but not previously.
I don't know. Since I was young, I just always really enjoyed the Bundesliga. I remember we had Setanta Sports back in the day, and they used to show Bundesliga games, and they used to show the Bundesliga highlights. And I used to absolutely love it. My team back then was Leverkusen, so I still have a bit of a soft spot for them. Like, they had the likes of Michael Ballack and Berbatov. Like, he was a huge star back then. So I remember him when he moved to Spurs.
Is that when they got to the Champions League final, wasn't it?
Berbatov didn't play in that final, but he was in the squad.
Yeah,
he did play.
For Andy Jib, just what's the score? It's 0-0 at the moment. 10 minutes gone.
10 minutes gone, 0-0. Leverkusen are dominating the ball. At the moment, I think it might be it's Lars Bender. Actually, we know him. Lars and Sven Bender do play for.
They used to play Dortmund, didn't they?
Leverkusen as well. Yeah, they used to play for Dortmund, or one of them did. It was just like that. I used to just watch it on the telly. I probably watched more Bundesliga as a kid than I did Premier League, because I find that 10:30 on a Saturday night for someone who's 8, 9, 10 years old is just a bit too much. But the Bundesliga used to be on at like 6 and 7 on a Friday kind of thing. So I just watched the Bundesliga. I knew a lot about him back then. Like, when you're a kid, you're like a sponge and you soak, but it all goes in. So the Bundesliga was one of those ones that just went in. I have a soft spot for Serie A as well, but I think I started getting into that a little bit later on when I was maybe 13, 14. But Premier League and Bundesliga definitely for me. But it's a brilliant league. Like, the fans are amazing. Actually, my girlfriend will kill me now for saying this, but before my birthday this year, I'm obviously a Liverpool fan as well, but before my birthday this year, it was the summertime, and I was like, we're going to a Leverkusen game on my birthday. I didn't know, but she was like all against it and stuff like that, but I didn't realize that she already had Liverpool booked for me for my birthday. So I was like, we're going to a Leverkusen game. I'm booking us in. I haven't been to a game ever. I'm doing it. And she was like, no, I don't really feel like it. No, we'll just see. We'll see. But she ended up organising Liverpool instead. I got to meet Gabriel Cisse, so I don't regret that.
Why would she kill you though?
Well, no, she wouldn't kill me for saying it, but it's just like as if to say my birthday was as if I preferred to go to Leverkusen than I would Liverpool kind of thing, that kind of way.
There's a lad here asking a question that you might be able to help him with. Can you see that?
What's this? Do you see this as a game you would live bet either side? What?
I think he's saying if you were live betting, which team would you go for? Maybe.
Oh, I go Leverkusen absolutely. Kai Havertz is up front, and if you're going for a first goal scorer, I'd be sticking it on Kai. But like he had a fantastic season last year. Last year he was hitting near the 20 goal mark. He's only 19, 20. He was linked to some huge clubs. He's a fantastic footballer. He has everything. He's quick. He's very good in the ball. He can dribble. He can shoot. He's tall. He's strong, and he's really smart. I think that's one of his things. And he's playing up front today. I've never actually seen him play up front. He's usually in that kind of 10 role or maybe on either side of the wing. But seeing him up front, he can definitely do a job. So I put him as first goal scorer. And if I was a betting man, I'd have I'd have Leverkusen +2 anyway, I'd say.
Well, there you are. Feder 805.
There you are. There's another player actually
Anyone
at the moment. Anyone not watching, he's just got fouled there. His name is Amiri, and anyone who's watching the European Championships in the summer there, he had a fantastic. He came off the bench for Germany and basically in a couple of games won them the tournament, and then he was bought from, I think it was Mönchengladbach. They bought him from for maybe 15, 20 million, and he's been kind of bit part. So, and he's their number 11 for Leverkusen. So if you're watching him, keep an eye out. And they have some really, really good players, Leverkusen. I think this is the best Leverkusen side in a good few years. They have a winger, Diaby, number 19. He's only young as well. He's quick as lightning. And he's kind of taken the reins this year over Kai Havertz, who hasn't hit the heights, we'll say. He's been good. He's been very good, but he hasn't hit those goal scoring or assisting heights that he was hitting last year. But I can't see anything but a Leverkusen win here, unless football surprising. You can't really call form, like you said yourself. At the moment, Paul, or like McManaman said, you can call as much form as you want, but I don't.
There's comments coming in. Hang on. So hello says me 08 says Wirtz looks brilliant and composed for a young player, only 17 years and 15 days. That's very to the point. Youngest debut in Leverkusen history.
Absolutely brilliant. And the league itself over the last couple of years has been absolutely amazing for churning out those players and buying in those players, because I think we've known maybe France as the best league in the world over the last couple of years for kind of churning out those young players and seeing them getting their starts and making their way, like the likes of Mbappe, and even you see a couple of now in UR, and there's a few of them there like that are going to hit the heights. And I think Germany are trying to do that as well. Like they're really spending a lot of time training those young players and bringing them in. You could say that about a couple of players around the league as well. So it's not just Wirtz, who has been one to watch. Definitely, people have been talking him up. Reina is another one that we could have seen the other day for Dortmund. He was now he's played a few times. I think it was going to be his first start, but he was last minute replaced. I don't know if that was injury wise for Torgan Hazard. So there's a load of them in there to watch. It'll be absolutely great to see what happens with those in the next couple of years. Is the Bundesliga going to be one of those leagues that is prepping these players for Premier League and La Liga, or are they going to hold on to them and try and stake their claim for that top spot in the best league in Europe? Because they have some fantastic teams there at the moment. There's some fantastic squads, some good young players, some big players. The best striker in the world plays for Bayern Munich.
Who? Lewandowski?
Lewandowski's the best striker in the world at the moment. Now you can disagree with that because that's all football. Paul Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a good player, but I don't think he's the best striker in the world.
No, well, best striker in the world off the top of your head, it's hard to pick. Lots of people saying Mbappe, Aguero, Lewandowski's right up there though. Yeah, I mean, you have a serious argument, but he'd definitely be top three.
He had a big injury this year, and he's still just the other day. The penalty he's against Union Berlin was 4 years old this season. He had surgery. I think it was surgery on his ankle, or an hamstring or something. This just before Christmas. So he's an absolute machine. He's a freak. I actually put a question, and I know this has nothing to do with the Bundesliga. Well, maybe it is, depending on your answer. I put a question to a group today. I'm in on WhatsApp, and the question was, who are the best strikers to ever play beside each other? And I don't necessarily mean have the best partnership, but the two best strikers to play beside each other. They're not allowed to be from the same country. So, for example, you could go for
York and Cole.
Huh?
York and Cole.
York and Cole is a great one, absolutely brilliant. But was Dwight York a world beater? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, Bergkamp, Henry.
That's a good one. Or Raul and Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think Raul played with Van Nistelrooy as well, which would be a good one too.
That would be a good one as well. That would be a very good one. I have one.
Raul and Ronaldo would probably be better too, to be fair. Thinking off the top of my head, there's some good ones there. Let's keep going with that, actually. I like that.
I don't think you can beat my one that I have here now.
Del Piero Trezeguet.
That's a great one. That is an absolutely brilliant one.
What's your one?
Roberto Baggio and Ronaldo.
Nice. At what, Inter?
Inter Milan, Baggio and Ronaldo. I don't think that'll be beaten personally, but change my mind. Leave in the comments if you can think of two strikers that played together that were absolutely unbelievable, and that doesn't mean they have to necessarily have struck up an unbelievable partnership. Like, let's say, like you said, York and Cole or Keane and Berbatov, but like two unbelievable strikers that played beside each other. It's tough.
Is that not easy though? I think that's a little bit easy. If you have to kind of make it a little bit harder. Like they can't have played for, how could you put it? Like
That's why they can't have played in the same country, so you can't think of like countrymen like Ronaldo, Rivaldo.
Yeah, but even at 2, they weren't great. Some fella straight away puts in the comments Heskey and Owen.
Tell you what, I like Heskey and Owen.
No, but they're from the same place.
True, that's true.
Both
Sorry.
English, like.
Yeah, that one's been disqualified as much as I love it.
You kind of have to go old school for it because no one really plays 2 anymore. Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, there's the 2 for you.
You could kind of say Messi and Suarez, but they're part of a front 3, really, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, who else could you go? Yeah, Phillips and Quinn.
Phillips and Quinn is a great shout.
30 goals for
the amount of goals that Phillips and Quinn got between them. Was that the 2001 season where Phillips got 30 goals and Quinn was just knocking them all onto him? That was a great partnership in fairness.
Here's a good one, Joe O'Brien.
Drogba and Annette, that was a brilliant one. They were great together. They were great.
Your Wi-Fi went a bit wonky there. Say that again.
I said they were great together. Sorry. That is a good. I'm trying to think of other ones now. Rooney and Van Nistelrooy, did they play beside each other?
Ah, yeah, they would have at the start. Yeah.
Maybe
Salah,
not.
Salah and Van Nistelrooy.
I wouldn't have that one in there now.
Louis Saha was quality. He just got injured all the time. Did Torres play up front with anyone at Liverpool? No, but he was kind of.
Michael Owen, Alan Shearer. Oh, same country. Never mind. Can't do that. Suarez didn't really play with anyone decent. Yeah, you could have him, but I think that was more a 3 with Sterling, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Like you can have that one. You can have that one, I suppose. But they didn't. Like I can't remember the last time Liverpool played 2 up front.
Ricky Lambert and David Ngog.
They didn't. I don't think they played together.
Here's Jer has one there. Look, Keane and Torres.
Torres.
They weren't great together, but you said they didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true. They weren't great together, but
he didn't really play up front. He played more on the wing for Rafa. Keane did.
Rafa was weird with formations. He was very weird. He'd throw players anywhere he wanted, really.
Oh, here's a really good one for you. That is kind of, you wouldn't think, but Bellamy and Shearer, because he's Welsh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. Bellamy and Shearer. You could go. Here's a better one for you. Kluivert and Shearer.
No, because Kluivert was shit for Newcastle.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Are you talking prime Kluivert and prime?
Yeah, but Keane was shit for Liverpool.
Okay, yeah, but okay, fair enough. But I said that was a shit one anyway. Someone's at the hang on. Hello says me. 08 again is back.
Dzeko. Oh yeah, do you remember that one?
Oh, he was good too.
He played for Wolfsburg. He won them the title. He was absolutely brilliant. But he was a 1C. He's
kind of fat Brazilian lad.
He was a definition. He's a professional footballer, Paul. The two of us can't really say that sitting here in our holes chatting about him.
He was a bit of a fat footballer. He was a Sunday League player. Let's be honest.
He was stocky. He was like Kevin Davis in a way. But he was a fantastic for that year that they won the title. He was absolutely brilliant. That was a great shout from Hello Says Me 08. Brilliant shout.
The full name.
Hello Says Me 08. Yeah, but it's tough, like, because when they're not from the same country, it is a bit tougher. And there's not many of them out there, is there really?
Well, I think if you know, as we kind of talk through,
here's
I think more are coming out. Like, do you know what I mean?
Totti and Batistuta.
Totti
and Batistuta.
Did they play together?
I think so.
Here's one for Chelsea that I don't know if they played exactly together, but they probably did at some point. But Shevchenko and Crespo. They would have played together at AC Milan.
They would have played together at AC Milan and Chelsea. I think they did, yeah. That's a brilliant one.
That would probably be up there for me, you know, top 3. Do
you think that my Baggio and Ronaldo one has been beaten yet?
This is a good one. Hello, it's me. 08.
The Champions League, the year they won the treble, was fantastic. Like the Mourinho team there, like I thought they were goose because remember they got rid of Zlatan. They got rid of Zlatan.
Didn't he? And Eto went the other way.
They got Eto in, and I was thinking, oh, these lads are not going well. Even though Eto was an absolute baller, I just thought Zlatan was the figurehead of that team at the time, and he was. The season before that, he finished top scorer. They'd won the league. They won the Scudetto. Then they did the treble even, excuse me, and it was unreal. It was amazing. So Milito and Eto'o. Remember Milito in that Champions League final against Bayern?
Sorry, what?
Milito in the Champions League final against Bayern, unplayable.
He was quality against Barca though as well. Do you remember when they beat Barca in the semis and Mourinho mastered my Zanetti was unbelievable against Messi as well.
Quality.
He was very underrated, Javier Zanetti. He was class. He was like 38, marking Messi, and he's the only player in like the world at the time that kept him quiet. And they bet them, I think, 3-1. Carried that into the second leg then, and Wesley Sneijder was unbelievable. I think in that year as well. I think he went on to do well. I think he carried Holland to the World Cup final that year as well.
Actually, I think it was 5 years ago today that Zanetti actually retired. He played his last game for Inter Milan. So
it's mad how that happens, isn't it? Like
very topical. Who else? Definitely a couple more.
What about surely Adriano at Inter played up front with someone?
Adriano was with
Zlatan.
He was with Zlatan.
And Alvaro Recoba as well.
Yeah, Montella.
What'd you say?
Montella, the Italian, and Totti.
Well, your Baggio one could be trumped by Vieri and Ronaldo. Christian Vieri.
No way. Are you telling me that the greatest Italian player of all time is being trumped by Christian Vieri?
I don't know if he's the greatest.
Yeah, he's the greatest Italian player of all time.
I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. Right. Let's have a new argument then. Who's the greatest Italian player of all time? This is Irish Football Fan TV, and we're talking about the greatest Italian player of all time. Get involved. While watching the German league.
Hang on, just before we do that, there's one as well. Ronaldinho and Henrik Larsson.
I would say that Ronaldinho didn't play up front, but it is a good duo.
The greatest Italian player of all time, Maldini.
I'm going to say Maldini is the third greatest.
After
Baresi. Baggio 1, Baresi 2, Maldini 3.
It depends on when how much did you actually see of Baggio? Or are you just going off
to be fair,
people's opinions? I actually watched Maldini and loved them, and
I love Maldini. I love watching Nesta, and there's absolutely a part of me that's going off other people's opinions in a little bit. But I remember watching Baggio play for Brescia, in a full game when I was younger, and it was actually a game that Pirlo played in as well. So it was a young Pirlo and Baggio played together, and I remember watching that.
You know where this is leading to?
What?
It was picking like our best 11 ever. But go on.
Baggio, Pirlo did a Pirlo thing, a classic Pirlo thing. He was playing I think he was around number 4, but he was playing in the kind of a quarterback position, and he pinged the ball from the halfway. And the ball came over Baggio's head, and he could have taken a touch and had the shot. He could have hit it first time, but the touch he took it round the goalie. So one touch around the goalie and then in. It was absolutely unreal. And I don't think I watched it live. I think it was one of those rerun ones back when I was a kid, and I watched kind of the full game. Maybe in 2006, 2007. The game would have been maybe 2002, 2003. He was at Brescia. It was unbelievable. I remember thinking, "Oh my god, amazing!" And since then, I just had a soft spot for Baggio, and his hair was class as well. Imagine you have to be an unbelievable footballer to pull off that hair.
Yeah, well, like a defender would just literally pull it off.
Yeah, literally. But that's why he literally had hair like mine. But then
goal. 1-0.
He had the party in the back. I think I'm a little bit behind. I am a little bit behind.
I'm not going to tell you who scored then.
I'm going to say Kai Havertz.
I got to say right.
Is it Kai?
Yeah, header.
It is. Didn't I say put money on Kai Havertz?
You did. And you should have done it at Bet Dak, so Jerry would be happy.
Yeah, Kai Havertz with the goal, and Diaby with the cross. Describe the goal for anyone who's not watching the game. We're 27 or is it 37 minutes in? I have
20.
27 minutes of the game. Diaby took the ball on the right side, made a nice little run, nice little touch, took on the left back. Diaby's quick as lightning. Got into a good crossing spot, just floated one in. And Kai, like I said earlier, he has that height and just nestled the ball. Little one right in the sweet spot past the goalie. 1-0 Leverkusen. Kai Havertz, the man I said to put money on, who's actually wearing the captain's armband today. He must be one of the youngest captains in Leverkusen history. I think Ballack captained him when he was young as well. That's mad.
I noticed that the players actually celebrated with him.
Did they?
No, he was down injured. That's a stupid rule, I think. That, you can't. You have to stay social distance. They're playing against people and tackling them and hugging them and everything from corners.
That's the PR. That's the PR part of it. That's when you see like the players who've been trained together and playing against each other in training for the last maybe 4 weeks are sitting, 2 meters apart on the bench, and that as well. With the celebrating stuff, you basically have your finger in your man's mouth when you're trying to tackle him, and then you're not allowed to give him a high five. So it doesn't really make any sense. But look, it's the PR thing. It's so the cameras can take their pictures of players celebrating from a distance, and that's the stuff that makes the headlines. It's positive. It's a positive PR stunt, I think. But look, hopefully.
Hello says Me08 is back again. We get Cannavaro into the conversation for greatest Italian Ballon d'Or winner in 2006. What?
Before I was rudely interrupted by Paul, I was going to put Cannavaro in my fourth spot. I think Cannavaro is the fourth best Italian.
When did I rudely interrupt you? When the goal went in?
No. It was before that you started talking. I was saying my top. I think I was saying my top 5 Italians of all time, and then you said, "When was the last time you watched Baggio?"
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'd have Cannavaro up there, absolutely. Cannavaro.
I probably have Nesta ahead of him though.
Like Nesta.
Goal again.
Bremen after equalizing.
How'd you know?
Because they have a corner. I'm a little bit behind, but unless it's a really fast break. Goal. Is that Selic? No.
It's a good little goal it was.
Wasn't I said goal? Good run. Good finish.
Why is the manager all of a sudden got a mask on? And then he pulled it back down and starts giving instructions.
So it's 1-1 in the game. Bremen have scored directly from a corner. Nice little goal.
It wasn't direct.
It was direct.
It was. The fella got a heel on it.
I'm sorry, yeah. I thought it went in.
No, he got a little back heel. It was a nice finish.
That was lovely. That was a great goal.
Yeah.
Like you have to give out about the defenders there a little bit. Like they just let him kind of waltz in, no bother. And assist.
We've 9 people online. Get those likes in on the video, and don't forget to get your comments in, and we'll answer them. We're talking about Italians at the moment and top 5.
Watching the game. So, Paul, give me your top 5 Italians of all time.
Maldini won. It's hard to you have to have.
You were slandering my top. You better have a top 5 yourself.
Maldini, Cannavaro, yeah, but I'm going off what I've actually watched, not of older people and their opinions, which by all accounts, everyone's allowed to. But I just kind of going off what I've seen, and Maldini, and he was just always so good in every tournament he's ever at. Just different gravy. Great leader. And, I think it showed how long he was at AC Milan, how good he was. And for me, he gets in number 1. I used to play left back for years, and then I used to always watch him, and I just thought everything he did was just absolutely unbelievable. But then he moved into centre back, and he was just class again, and I think it showed. Then Nesta, I always loved watching him, and Cannavaro as well, but I probably put them further down the list and put Del Piero second, because I just thought he was unreal. His free kicks, his goals, everything he did, just class. And then I'd have Pirlo, number 3. I just thought unbelievable at everything, and he just made everything look so cool. Always looked like he had so much time on the ball, and just done everything so effortlessly, and carried on. And kind of, it's funny because I think he played for AC Milan, Inter, and Juve. And when he went to Juve, he probably played his best football. He was just kind of changed his game, evolved, and was even better after. Because obviously with AC Milan, he was winning Champions League with Ancelotti and stuff like that. But when he went to Juve, he just controlled things, and he allowed the likes of Pogba and stuff like that to do their thing then. And I think people like Pogba flourished, and I think that's why Pirlo, in lots of ways, doesn't really get the recognition that he probably should. He was like a quarterback, you know what I mean? I remember he played against Ireland in Croke Park, and he just dominated the game. We drew 2-2, and to be fair, Ireland were brilliant that day. Glenn Whelan actually scored an absolute perler against Buffon.
Yeah.
Oh, goal again.
Amazing. But just on Pirlo there, as you were saying, like they won the World Cup in 2006 because of him. Like everyone always remembers the final, but that whole team. So Demir boy with the cross, and is it Kai again? Is it?
I'm not sure. They're celebrating. Havertz again, yeah.
Kai Havertz again. There you go.
And he is wearing the captain's armband. You're right.
He is. They built the whole team around Andre Pirlo. They just had Gattuso in there to protect him, get the ball back, give it to Pirlo. He just did everything. He just ran them all like a puppet. I remember when
goal, by the way.
It was a fantastic goal. It crossed in from Demirbay, who came from Hoffenheim in the summer. Big money move for him. Their number 10. A left-footed cross into the box, and Kai just gets the head on it and past the keeper. 2 headers for Kai Havertz. Wearing the captain's armband today. The young lad who's been linked with moves to Man United, Liverpool, all over Europe, in fairness, and you can see why, because he's a fantastic footballer. That was another great goal. There was talk of Pirlo going to Real Madrid after the World Cup.
I think he said that in his book as well.
Yeah,
his book is really good.
Yeah, but imagine that. He would have probably been considered one of the greatest of all time if you went to that Real Madrid team. Like, okay, I know they didn't do much, but once you go to Real Madrid, you kind of get this halo over your head for some reason, you know.
Well, that's what happened to Cannavaro.
You do, absolutely. Like he was absolutely balling. I mean, he was at Inter Milan, and he was and Juventus, and he was absolutely balling. But you don't get that recognition when you play in Italy as much, you know. So when
but I think he was wasn't he at Juventus? Or he was at Inter. They went to Juventus. They got relegated there for the match fix, and then he went to Real Madrid after winning the World Cup, and he won the Ballon d'Or, as he says. Me08 said earlier on. So I hope we're giving him a bit of a case here for being up there in the argument.
Absolutely, he was the last defender to win the Ballon d'Or. You know, as much as
tiny as well.
And he was just such a battler. He was everything. He was a perfect centre back to have. He could play football. He could win headers. He could do everything. But I feel he was one of those players that he could have. He wasn't unbelievable when he was younger. Do you know what I mean? When he came into his own when he was in his mid-20s. You know, he wasn't one of these ones that was kind of put up on a pedestal. Let's say like Maldini was his whole life. You know, and Maldini delivered until he was 38 years old. You know, and Nesta as well. Those two. Remember when Nesta was at Lazio? He was unbelievable. And then making that move to AC Milan and just got better and better and better. So it is actually quite fun picking the top 5 Italians, because we're kind of caught between 3 defenders and 3 attackers, aren't we? With Baggio and Pirlo and.
I never seen much of Baggio. I did. Well, I used to watch him when I was younger. I used to watch the Serie A. They used to have that.
Calcio.
That bald lad. What's his name? James something.
I can't remember his name.
He does this BT Sport. He does this now.
Does he?
Yeah, he was on it. He was on it the other day presenting the show. I can't remember his name. Someone will probably write it in the comments there. If you know his name, write his name in the comments.
Oh, yeah. He has the beard. That lad.
Yeah, him. So if you're in the comments there and if you know who we're talking about, please let us know. And it's
the top 5 Italians of all time. And I think the one thing we do agree on is that Maldini's in the top 3, definitely.
He's first. No, but that show they used to come on the Saturday, it used to be brilliant because you could just watch all the games, and they just had the coolest jerseys. And most of the best players in the world at that time in the 90s were in Italy. Like Ronaldo was there, obviously the Italian players, but they had some of the best players in the world. Zidane was there, you know, and you can go.
The Juventus team of 2004, they had some fantastic players. They had the likes of Edgar Davids that was playing there. They had Del Piero, David Trezeguet. They had Lilian Thuram as well at the back of Cannavaro. What a team!
Pavel
Nedved, unbelievable player, and of course Buffon in goal as well. I actually don't think Cannavaro was there at that time in 2004. I think he was at Inter Milan in 2004. Could be wrong though.
For Juve.
Yeah, no, I think Cannavaro played at Inter in 2003, 2004.
Yeah, possibly from Parma. I think he went. But there was no, it's a word. Clarence Seedorf for AC Milan was another unbelievable. I know he's Dutch, but he was unbelievable as well. He won the most Champions League with the most different clubs, I think.
He did, yeah. He won it. I think he won it with Ajax, AC Milan, and Real Madrid. So that's 3. Ronaldo's won it 3 times. So Ronaldo's won it with Real Madrid and Man United.
No, I think he's the person who's won it the most.
Surely someone else there, maybe in that Ajax team.
No, I don't think. Well, unless Van der Sar.
Maybe not.
But either way, maybe the top 5 Dutch team would not be a bad show to do now. Next,
the top 5 Dutch players of all time.
In your opinion, yeah.
Okay, right, Grant. So I'll have of all time. All right, tell you what, right? I would go of our lifetime, right?
Yeah, there's the Cormac Sands Seedorf only player to win with three different clubs. So there you go.
Thank you, Cormac. There's a few players close to him. In fairness, like there's no
Yeah,
reason why Ronaldo can't win it with Juve and be considered in that as well. But anyway, the top 5 Dutch players of all time in our lifetime. I'm going to go for number.
You're probably best off going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'll tell you what. I'll name 5, and I won't put them in order just yet. I'll go Virgil van Dijk. I'm going to go Dennis Bergkamp. I'm going to say Seedorf, even though he wasn't that great for Holland.
Oh, great ball. If he's onside, what a miss.
Oh, God, this is tough. So, Arjen Robben, maybe? Yeah, I have to throw him in there as well.
It has to be.
And I'm going to say Robin Van Persie. What a miss. Just missing.
What a run, though.
Just nipping out Van Nistelrooy there is Robin Van Persie.
So that's 5 you got?
That's my 5 there. I'm going to put Robin Van Persie and Robben in 5 and 4. Then I'll put Seedorf in 3, Bergkamp in 2, and Van Dijk in 1.
Would you ever go away?
He's the best defender that ever lived.
Here. This is getting too much. Jaap Stam was better than him.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
Jaap Stam didn't even come close to being a better defender than Virgil van Dijk.
Did it for longer.
What?
Did it for longer. And played for better clubs.
Sorry, that does nothing to do with it. Does
Hey, yes, it does.
Does it go by playing for longer because Van Dijk hasn't finished his career? I tell you what, you can have this discussion with me when Van Dijk has finished his career, and then
I think that's more. But if he is on number 1 and he's had 1.5 good seasons.
What? 2. I'm going to say that you get bought for 70 million, 80 million, right? You've had a good season before that. You know, if it's not like, this guy's now worth 75 million.
He must be doing nothing.
He must be one of those players that might be good. No.
He was paying for Southampton, not doing good. Stam came from Ajax to Lazio. Did he not win the league with Lazio? Then went to United. Then went to AC Milan. Played with AC Milan. With Maldini, Nesta, all the players that we mentioned. Come on.
But that doesn't make him a better player because he played around better players.
No, I'm not saying that, but he did it for longer. If you come back to me at the end of Van Dijk's career and say,
you can't say that. He did it for longer.
He had better seasons in the top flight.
Like, he wasn't he was good for Man United. He wasn't unbelievable. Like, if you were to put Man United's, top 3 defenders of all time.
Fergie said he was the biggest regret of his time at Man United.
But that's Stam's fault for being such a psychopath.
No, Ferguson said it about Stam that he was his biggest regret, not the other way around.
Selling him?
Yes.
He went back to Lazio, or did he go to AC Milan after?
AC Milan, and was unbelievable with them.
Are you sure? I think he went to Lazio first and then AC Milan.
No, I don't think so. I think it was, I could be wrong, but, did he go to Roma? No.
No, well, if he was at Lazio, I don't think he was at Roma. That wouldn't be allowed to happen.
Well, let me check.
I'm going to say he went from Man United to Lazio, then to AC Milan. And if I'm right, you have to give me a tenner.
Say that again. Sorry, I'm Wikipedia. I'm here.
So I'm saying Man United, Lazio, AC Milan.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's a tenner for me from you, lad. You can revolute me there, no bother.
But PSV to Man United to Lazio to AC Milan back to Ajax to finish up at Ajax.
Like, he was good. He was a good player, but he's nowhere near Van Dijk. I'm sorry. If people are able to compare the likes of John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, and Vidic to Van Dijk, Stam isn't in that list. Stam isn't in the top 5 Premier League defenders of all time. You know that.
Yeah, but how long was Stam there? Hang on.
Stam was at United, I'd say, maximum 4 years.
I'll tell you now. Someone thinks I'm a Man United fan in the comments. Hello, says me. He goes, I'm guessing Garry is a Liverpool fan and you're a United fan, which I'm not. And what did he say? Who was the better front three then, guys? Ronaldo, Rooney and Tevez or Mane, Salah and Firmino? It's got to be Ronaldo, Rooney, and Tevez.
No, you're a nostalgia merchant, my friend, is what you are. You're just lapping it in, that nostalgia. Everything. Okay, I'll say this. I'll say this.
Talking
No.
nonsense now, Garry. Come on.
No, I can back it up with stats if you want.
Go on.
They have superior goals. They played more minutes and scored more
Stam
goals.
was there 3 years, by the way.
Well, let's say okay, but if you're comparing 2 years, then maybe the first two or the last two of Liverpool's front three or United's front three, which they only played together for 2 years as well, before Ronaldo moved on. But I think, look, I remember I've been a Liverpool fan all my life, and I loved watching that United team of 07, 08, 08, 09. They were brilliant. They were class to watch. The fast break football was real. It was real Klopp style football that Fergie was playing, getting the ball to the lads and let them do their thing. And they were an unbelievable team to watch. It used to kill me to say it, that United were the best team in the world, and they were fun to watch. But now United fans have to humble themselves and say that Liverpool are the best team in the world, and they're fun to watch. They're a very fun team to watch. And that front three, if not equaling those boys without stats, they could be better. And to be fair as well, like you said, longevity has something to do with it as well, because they're together longer. You can't say that Stam's a better player better than Van Dijk because he was there longer, and then not say that but Bobby, Mane, and Salah are not better because they haven't been there as long, or they've been there longer than three boys from back in the day. I think you're a nostalgia merchant, my friend. Like if I gave you,
I think I'm a realist.
No, you're not a realist. I think you're a wind-up merchant as well, to be honest. Look, the fact that the three boys have better stats than them, and the fact that they're being compared to them, would suggest that they're the real deal. Look, if you look up the stats are better in every regard. But I'm not one of these people that's going to fall back on stats, because
stats in what regard?
In every.
How many goals did Ronaldo score in one season? Give
me 2 minutes, right, and I'll settle this argument for you.
But just to answer that question, did Ronaldo not get 40 goals in one season? Is that correct?
Yeah, Grant, and I reckon. Okay, Grant, but are you comparing Ronaldo to?
I'm just saying, is that correct? Yes or no?
Yeah. Did
any of those lads out of the three that you mentioned?
Did Mo Salah not break the Premier League record for goals there 2 seasons ago?
But in what regard?
In what regard? He scored the most amount of goals ever in a Premier League season.
Well, in Premier League or in actual the whole time that the league has been existed. Didn't he get Dixie Dean for Everton scored 60 goals in one season?
Didn't he get 46 or something that season? 1 sec. Do you know what? I'm gonna prove you wrong in just 1 second. I'm just looking.
And just for anyone asking in the comments, I'm actually an Everton fan, so I don't follow or have any affinity.
But you're going against Liverpool.
I'm not. Listen, I don't think that Van Dijk is the best defender of all time. I come out and said this on Twitter. He says he still has a long way to go. He definitely could be in contention by the time he finishes up his career, but not right now. He hasn't done enough to be like Liverpool will win the league. Yes. That's fine, but they need to continue winning titles over the next couple of years for him to be considered the best centre back. Right now, if you're turning around to me and say that he's better than Vidic, I'd laugh at you. I would absolutely laugh at you.
All right, okay, fine, Grant. I'm happy enough to say that in a few years' time, Van Dijk will be considered one of the best, if not the best, centre back in the Premier League.
Well, we'll have to wait and see till that happens. But right now, people can't be saying he's the best ever, because I find that nonsense. Vincent Kompany had done it for longer.
Football is opinions, and everyone is going to say that someone is the best ever, the best ever, the best ever. There's always going to be that, and especially when the younger generation's coming up now. Because I remember when we were younger, we used to say Vidic or Ferdinand are the best centre backs in the league, and someone a little bit older would go, "You shut up! Do you ever see Tony Adams play a game of football?" And we'd be going, "No." Do you know that kind of way? So it's one of those ones as well. But I do have stats here, going back to the argument between the front three of United and the front three of Liverpool. So the front three of United being the Ronaldo, Tevez, and Rooney against Firmino, Mane, and Salah. You ready?
Yeah.
So Rooney, Tevez, and Ronaldo in the seasons 07-08 and 08-09 scored a very good 92 goals, got 44 assists, right? So a combined 136. In the seasons 17-18, 18-19, so just taking the 2 years, because we haven't finished this year, obviously, goals for Liverpool 3 are 113 and 44 assists, makes it 157, better than 136, of course, right? So if you go for combined minutes for United's front three in those 2 seasons, they played 14,000 and a half. 14,000 and a half.
Your Wi-Fi is playing horrible games on you there.
Is it? It seems to be just playing horrible games on me when I'm stating facts, which is annoying. But basically, all the stat padding I can do suggests that the three boys are better. But it's not about, like, I'm not one of these people who's going to fall back on stats all the time and say, blah, 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 the stats. You made me do that. You backed me into a corner there, no bother. Which I kind of enjoy in a way as well. So you back me into a corner and I swipe. But you have to watch them as well. And I'll be the first to say that watching those three players, Tevez, Rooney, and Ronaldo back in the day was unbelievable. And you have to admit, even as an Everton fan, that watching the three Liverpool players at the moment is a joy. Like,
yeah, but the fans is the thing that annoy me. It's the way they go on.
There's toxic fans. Every club has toxic fans, and if you're judging fans by who they are on Twitter, then, like, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I've never, ever, ever had an argument with anyone on Twitter about Liverpool. Do you know?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying, like, yeah, they're great to watch, and it's quite similar to what you said about Ronaldo, Tevez, and Rooney for Man United when you were watching them. They are unbelievable to watch, but I still think if I was putting out a team, I would rather have, well,
you wouldn't, like, you'd rather have Ronaldo in it, but you'd have the other two.
No, I'd have Rooney ahead of Firmino probably, and I'd have Tevez probably ahead of Salah.
Yeah, but you're comparing. No, you.
But I'd have Mane.
You wouldn't have. Okay, you can't compare the individual because you're comparing the three together. Because obviously Rooney.
No, I'm just saying. I'm giving you out of the six, the three that I would have.
You'd have Tevez over Salah.
Yeah, I would.
That's mental. Okay, fair. I can understand.
Tevez was unbelievable.
And Salah isn't. Salah hasn't broken records in the Premier League and been unbelievable for the past 3 years. You're a crazy person.
Yeah, but he didn't flop at Chelsea.
And
Tevez was good everywhere he went.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
I don't.
Played for Juve, City. He's even good at West Ham. He kept them up. Man United.
You're a nostalgia merchant, is what you are. That's what you love. And you're winding me up as well. You're seeing an opportunity to wind me up, and you're doing it. And you know what? I can see it, and I'm getting wound up. So I'm worse for it. Grant, I'm sorry for getting wound up.
Yeah, but you think that I'm just giving you what I would prefer.
Grant, but you're wrong.
And this fella's going mad in the comment there. Oh, he only doesn't like Salah because he's a blue. I would just rather those players I said.
He's completely tapped because he's an Everton fan. That's it. He can't be unbiased. If you cut Paul open, there's blue blood.
Well, I said I'd have what? No, actually, I said it wrong. Right? I'd have Ronaldo, Rooney, and Mane is who I'd have. There you go.
So
out of the six, that's who I'd have.
All right.
Mane's better than Salah.
That's a different argument altogether. I think this season and obviously last season the two of them were neck and neck. But I just feel when you're comparing the two, you can always go back to that season that Salah had. And Mane this year has been one of Liverpool's best players. But you can always go back to that season where Salah was a freak of nature. You know, he was arguably the best player in the world that season.
Yeah, but is Mane? Well, Kevin De Bruyne would argue that fact because he won the league. But would you not argue that Mane's had the best season now because he's very much on course to win the league? And he was the one popping up with all the really, really important goals, I felt anyway. So do you think scared the shit out of most teams?
Do you think Mane's best season then is better than like Salah's in comparison? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the league table doesn't really lie, does it?
Okay, then if I go back to Virgil van Dijk versus Jaap Stam, is Virgil van Dijk's best season better than Jaap Stam's best season?
Did Jaap Stam win the treble?
Did that Jaap Stam win the treble? Yeah, absolutely. But did he do it on his own?
I don't think he did win the treble. He came in 2001. He did. He did. 1998 to 2001.
He did.
Therefore, you'd have to say.
Yeah, but you can't do that either because like Jaap Stam didn't win the treble. Like, you know, he was a part of a team that won the treble. But like Jaap Stam didn't pop up in the last minute and win that goal, or Jaap Stam didn't come off the bench and score that really important goal. Do you know, if anything, Jaap Stam's conceded a goal.
Nah.
I think we're not going to get over this argument. So I think we need to move on. Look, obviously the comment section doesn't lie either. The fact that you're not putting up some of these comments would suggest you're getting.
No, this is just some fella going to do a Ireland World Cup on Legendary. I'm not going to put that up. What's the point in that?
Paul do Ireland World Cup on Legendary. Is that your FIFA thing? Is it?
Yeah. So what? The only thing you want me to put this up?
He knows because
there's spelling mistakes in there as well. I don't really want to be putting that up for the poor lad.
There's no spelling needed in football. That doesn't bother me.
Oh, here he is. Mark Meehan's back with another comment.
Exactly. Look, we're not going to compare players anymore because it's too difficult, and we have a Liverpool and an Everton fan here. It's like you just can't do it. It's actually, I think it's impossible for us to agree on anything at this stage, unless it's about the Bundesliga.
Well, it's half time, by the way. So it's 2-1.
2-1 to Leverkusen. 2 goals from Kai Havertz. I'm thinking there'll be a few more for Leverkusen to stay going the way they're going. It's a beautiful goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and we're just having random topics about football as we're watching it as well. So join in, and if there's other topics you want us to disagree on, let us know in the comments.
Can I think of another question? Okay, who's the best footballer never to play for the Premier League top 6? Like the top 6 being the original top 6, you know.
Messi.
Obviously, what?
Messi.
No. I mean in the Premier League. Sorry.
Messi
never played in the Premier League.
So, the best player to never play.
Never played
for a top 6
team in Liverpool, like Liverpool.
So a player that's played the Premier League but not played for those top 7 clubs, including
top 6, because I don't really want to put Wolves in it,
man. Matt Letizia.
That's a shout.
Was not because
Gary Speed.
What?
Gary Speed was a brilliant footballer.
Who's that? Gary Breen.
Gary Breen.
What's his name?
Jamie Vardy has to be in with a shout there.
But he won the league, so he's part of the.
No, he's not in the top 6 though. Like I mean, the traditional top 6. You know, like the Liverpool, Manchester.
It changes all the time.
Yeah, but
Sheffield United are sitting 5th.
No, not the league. The like, so you can kind of like Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, United,
City,
Chelsea.
City only came into it recently as well.
But not recently. They've been there for 10 years, man. They got their money in 08, and they've been there or thereabouts. They were fighting for the top. What?
That's probably 8 years.
They got no way. They bought Robinho in 2008. Remember, that was when they got their money first. They got 2 injections of money, and the first time, and they were gunning for 4th place in the early 10s as well. 11, 12, 13. They were gunning for the, and they won. When was the first time they won the title? City, was it 2012? 2012. So there you go. So they're a top 16 now.
Yeah, that's 8 years though, not 10.
But they were still going. They were still top 16 in 2010. You're some dibble. I might hang up.
Sure, I'll get someone from the comments to jump in if you do.
Matt Letizia is a good one though. Matt Letizia is a good one. Matt Letizia.
Who else?
Alan Shearer.
Someone literally, as you just said it. Someone said it.
Alan Shearer.
Hello says me is thrown in some really good shows today. To be fair to him, he tried to put in. He tried to be nice to me and say this.
Tim Cahill. Do you know what? That I would have Tim Cahill in a top maybe 10 or 15. Definitely.
Just while you're on that topic now, I'm pretty sure under David Moyes, Everton finished in the top 4, top 5 more often than not. So you want to go back? You want to go back and include them in that too?
Are we including Blackburn in this as well? They won the league.
Well, then you're including Leicester, so you're not really
Exactly.
making sense.
Unfortunately, we can't include Everton.
Well, if you're going by the last 8 years.
Well, if you're going by the last 8 years, I didn't realise that they're not.
Go back and look under Moyes how often Everton finished in the top 6. So
you have to get rid of one.
They finished 4th, by the way.
Who?
Everton in 2004, and then continued to finish in the top 6 after that season.
So you're telling me, right, that you were arguing with me that City are not a traditional top 5 team, but Your
No,
argument.
I'm just saying in recent years you have to base it off what years you're speaking about. You're saying a traditional.
It is.
There is no traditional.
Talk about traditional top. Who are your traditional top six then?
But you have to talk about what year you're speaking about, because you're
I
saying,
mean,
well, if
traditional.
that fella didn't play for that club back then.
Okay, it used to be a top four. We'll start with that. The Premier League used to be known as the top four. Who was your top four? Like from the let's say it was what the noughties to 2010. There was a traditional top four. Those top four teams that were always or consistently going for the title, going for the Champions League spots. Who's your top four?
Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Liverpool.
Perfect. That's four, right? Now, because the league has gotten better, there's now a top six. So who would be those extra two teams? Because those four have still managed to fight for titles and fight for fourth place.
So now you'd have to put City and Spurs in.
Perfect. You've done it. You've done it. You've done it yourself. You got there.
Yeah, but we're talking about top six now. Okay.
The year that Everton got into the champion or into the fourth place, how did they get on the Champions League that year?
They got fucked over by the ref Colina. I actually watched an interview with Marcus Bent last night, and the ref gave offside for him, and he wasn't offside. And Duncan Ferguson scored a perfectly legit header, and they disallowed it, and then from that Everton lost. And unfortunately, because I think it was 2-2 away from home, Arteta scored a goal away from home, and Everton were cruising. And got pretty much fucked over, and then United won the Champions League and got in the back door somehow and got into the Champions League. And yeah.
Great. Mark Meehan obviously put the comment up there that he has the correct top six up. I think Paul was just trying to wind me up again, trying to sneak Everton into that top six for some reason.
No, just stating facts that under David Moyes, that.
Right. Okay. How about if you want to do it?
How many years did Everton finish in the top six? That's all I'm saying.
How many years did Everton finish outside the top six?
Yeah, since then a good few.
So would you want to do
since Martinez's good season? I think when we finished fifth.
So what Paul wants me to finish the question from is
14,
who's the best player to ever play in the Premier League outside the top six, traditional top six clubs? 2, who's the best player to play in the Premier League outside the traditional top 20 clubs?
Payet?
No, yeah. You know what? Dimitri Payet is absolutely going to be in the top 10 list, actually, now that you mentioned it, from the traditional top 6.
You tried to disregard it at the start, though.
I did. Because I was saying top 20, because everything will be in the list of top 20. Because they're a yo-yo club, aren't they?
What?
What?
Never been relegated.
That's true. That is one thing. Flight. That's one thing.
100 and something years. About the longest serving team in the top flight.
Did they have a trophy for that, or?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had a trophy.
What channel is the game on? The game, Aaron Brennan says, it's on BT Sport 1, and the second half's just about to kick off now. That's what we were talking shite here. But
yeah, we started off the day talking about the beautiful Bundesliga, which is back, and Bayer Leverkusen, who are playing some really good football against Bremen, and then Paul decided to light a match under my arse.
But where are we at now? Because we were talking about Dutch players, and then you get top 5, and then you started going mental about Van Dijk, and then it just spiraled from there.
What we'll do is we will do the top 5 Spanish players of our generation.
That's hard.
It is hard.
I didn't get to do my Dutch ones yet.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Go for your Dutch ones. My Dutch ones, I ended with 5 Robben, 4 Van Persie, 3 Seedorf, 2 Bergkamp, 1 Van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. And that's how we got onto the argument with Paul. Now, Paul's going to go for his top 5, and I already know that Virgil's not going to be in there, which it is.
Yeah, he's not. He isn't. There's no defenders. There's no defenders going in that. The Dutch attackers are so good.
And just so you know, actually, anyone watching that, this is only during our lifetime, so obviously the likes of Cruyff isn't going to be in there. And the De Boers, even though they are in our lifetime in a way.
No, De Boer was in my lifetime, the 98 World Cup.
We were a bit young, weren't we?
Well, I actually gave Ronald De Boer the ball when we played Holland when I was a ball boy, so.
Grand, okay. Is he in your top 5?
No.
Go on, give me your 5.
It's tough. Wesley Sneijder. 5. Oh, good play. Oh, good tackle. Who else? Oh, this is really, really hard. Van Nistelrooy 4. He was unreal. What are you laughing
I thought you were going to say Van Dijk there.
at? Number 3, Van. Hey. No, Bergkamp, number 3. Number 2. Oh. Van der Vaart. And Robin 1.
You're
But
insane.
that's just off the top of my head. I know for a fact there'll be someone that you'll say there, and I'll be like, oh, bollocks, I forgot him.
There. Seedorf.
I don't think he might be better than Van der Vaart, maybe.
Van Persie.
Yeah, he was good, but not in my top 5. He'd probably be top 10, yeah.
Whose top 5 is better? So anyone who's listening out to the 2 top 5s there, is my top 5 better or is Paul's top 5? Not necessarily better. Whose do you agree with more? My top 5.
My
Paul.
list is probably all over the place. Some of the players should probably be.
Look, there's no need for excuses. A bit of an attack here for Leverkusen at the moment. I don't know if it's broken down on Paul's screen yet because he's a little bit ahead of me.
I'm not saying anything. Paul's is worse, of course. Mark Meehan keeps siding with you. No,
Mark is a logical man, and he's obviously he knows his football as well. Because
we should do a football phone in where we get people in.
Absolutely do a football phone in. I am 100% for that. I can easily sway and turn everyone against you.
Bring it on.
Okay, so for now we will go for our top 5 Spanish players in our lifetime. Villa, says Thomas, he says Villa, Xavi, Iniesta, Casillas, Ramos. And you know what? That is going to be so hard to argue. That is an unbelievable top 5.
Yeah, well, it's actually going to probably go against the grain here. Someone said that Frito. What? I don't know. Sorry, I was going to say going against the grain. Torres at Liverpool, you can't not have him in that Spanish team. He was on fire at that time when he was at Liverpool.
Yeah.
So,
who you take?
You go first.
I'll go for my top 5. My top 5 would be Raul 5. Puyol.
Can we skip to 1 and 2 when you put Torres and Xabi Alonso up there because they play?
I promise you, neither of those are in my top 5.
I'm only messing. Go on.
Raul 5 because he was just amazing. He had the record for so many years. Champions League goals. He was so good. Real Madrid for years. Captain them. There since he was a kid. Amazing for Spain as well. So
your Wi-Fi is playing games on you again.
Sorry, what did you miss there?
The last 10 seconds.
Okay, so I went for Raul in 5 because he's unbelievable. In 4, I've gone for Carlos Puyol. In 3, I'm going to say Iniesta. In 2, I'll say Ramos. And in 1, Xavi.
Nice.
I think it's hard to leave Torres and Villa out. It's hard to leave Torres and Villa out because they were. I think Villa was one of the best finishers of all time. I think him in the box, it was just, when he got in the box and he could whip the ball in from anywhere into the goal, he was unbelievable. And Torres, obviously, for those years he had at Liverpool and Atletico Madrid.
Sure, look what they won together.
Sorry?
Look what they won together at international level.
They did, yeah. Like, they were unbelievable together. They were amazing. And it's hard to leave them out. There's a lot of players.
They won 2 Did they win 2 World Cups in the Euros? Or was it?
They won the Euros. The Euros was 2008 that Torres scored the goal in the final. They won the World Cup together that Iniesta scored the goal in the final. And did they win the Euros together They did. I think Villa was. Yeah, he was. Villa was in the 2012 squad when they beat Italy 4-1 in the final. So yeah, but I think that is a really tough one. And to be fair, like with this one, I think there's less wrong answers because the players are so good. So I'm going to give you a chance, Paul, to give your top 5 and be wrong.
As always. Well, I think Raul has to be in there. He was just so good for so long with Real Madrid and stuff like that. But there's players in there that you kind of feel guilty leaving out, but you kind of want to leave them out because they scored penalties against Ireland in the World Cup, like Mendieta, who was class. He was actually, for that thing you mentioned earlier, Mendieta played for Middlesbrough, so he'd probably be one of those players who didn't play for a top.
True, yeah. Andy Mendieta, he was good. He was good. And speaking of Middlesbrough, actually, Juninho, the Brazilian Juninho.
Yeah, and Ravanelli. But what was I going to say? So Raul. This is so hard. Iniesta 4. Xavi 3. I'm going to say Hierro 2. And here it's between Villa and Torres. I'm gonna go with Villa just because when he played with that Barca team with Messi and so on, I remember going over to see them and they were considered probably the best team ever.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason he edges it. But I think Fernando could feel very, very.
Fernando not getting in either top 5 is harsh. We know that. He was a fantastic.
But he would get into the top 10. Maybe because I think Raul did it over longer spells, but he probably stayed at the same club for so long. Obviously, when Torres left Liverpool, he wasn't really the same player again after that. But if you're talking about the player he was, at Liverpool for that spell, then he's probably like as good as they get. Like,
yeah, it's tough though. It's tough in a nice way because I can't disagree with your top 5 really. Like maybe the positioning of them here and there, but like other than that, like all the players are fantastic. Really,
I actually don't think I've really put them in a position. I think I've just said 5 names and just kind of like, yeah, I'll kind of worry about the numbering later if that makes sense. If I was writing it down, I'd probably go into more detail of why I put them in that particular number or whatever. Where it's just kind of listening off the top of my head. It's kind of hard,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Totally agree.
Someone said do Italy next, but they obviously weren't watching earlier.
We did Italy, but we can recap. Absolutely, we can recap. I went for well, we didn't really. We just kind of shouted at each other a little bit during the Italy one. So I don't think
I gave 5. Did I not? Del Piero, Pirlo, Maldini, Nesta, Cannavaro. Was that not 5?
Yeah, I went for Baggio, Baresi, Maldini, Del Piero, Cannavaro. Yeah, that was it. Except I think we switched Cannavaro and Del Piero.
Someone gave a nice little compliment to you there. Well, I would get him on, but he just decides to never actually come on. So
I've been on a few times, and I have all my Irish Football Fan TV gear and stuff like that. The only reason I'm not on as much as maybe I would like is because my knowledge of Irish football, unfortunately, isn't as good as I would like it, and all the lads have unbelievable knowledge, and I'm sitting there like a spare arse. Sometimes listening to them talk. So every now and then, when we talk about the Bundesliga or we can talk about this stuff and maybe small little bits about the Irish League, then I can kind of get into it a little bit more. I'm still learning, so I haven't been thrown into the deep end just yet. But when we're talking about things that don't really matter, that's when I come into play. So yeah. But thank you. I appreciate the compliment. If it was a compliment, and maybe he was talking to you about you, Paul.
No, he probably knows who I am. I don't know who he is, though. No offense. What?
You're a celeb. You're the celeb.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think then what someone said do Portugal. I'll hear Mark
Portugal would be nice. Obviously Ronaldo number 1 on both those lists, but it's and look, obviously once again we're not considering those players that we've never seen play like Eusebio and boys like that. And Mark has said the Bundesliga teams you're supporting. I've always been a Bayer Leverkusen fan since I was young. And Paul, I know, is a Wolfsburg fan because he has the jersey, and it's a nice jersey.
Go on, the Wolfsburg. It's because they played Everton as well a few years ago in the Europa League. De Bruyne was playing for them, and they had a really good team. And I was just trying to get that jersey for ages, and it was unbelievable. That jersey actually has Naldo 25 on the back, so you've seen it in person. Such a lovely jersey that I just, whenever I wear it, just feel like a king in it. But that's the reason why you kind of, and obviously the colours, then the green and white. It's good for like Celtic and Ireland, so it's a good little thing. There's a couple of other comments coming in. I don't have any knowledge of the team anymore, and I wouldn't really actually following them. So hang on now. Hello says me has 2 nice things to say. He says Garry has great knowledge, a lot of Liverpool fanboying, haha.
Yeah.
And he says but knows the stuff, so that was nice. Then Barry Scott says, "Yup, Paul. Thanks, Barry. I like the picture."
Scott.
And then hello says me, says I've actually turned off commentary of Bundesliga game just to hear you boys chatting. Great content, loving it. So that's what we love to hear, and this is why we do it. So
The Bundesliga game, this one has actually gone a bit, like every time I look over, it seems to be Leverkusen in the Bremen half, just kind of passing the ball around like they are at the moment. And, like anyone who is getting
the ball,
into, like, wanted to get into a new league, or is kind of just wants something else other than the Premier League, the Bundesliga is something I would recommend. It's fantastic. If you can get to go over to a live game, unbelievable. The fans are great. You can drink in the stadium. They're good crack. Like they're real friendly people, and the football is good as well. And it's coming along in the next couple of years. It'll be really interesting to see if they, like we were discussing earlier, if they keep a lot of the young players that are in the league, or if they integrate some more players from outside of Europe or outside of Germany, like they have been doing with the UK, into the league, because the league is on its way. It's on its way up. It's absolutely flying. I consider the Bundesliga better than La Liga now. No bother. I know Barcelona and Real Madrid is always that counter argument, but they haven't. Anyone who's been watching La Liga, they haven't had a great year. Either of those teams haven't had a great year. And of course, Atletico are there as well. But I actually feel there's better teams in Germany than there are in La Liga. I think the last place team in Germany would batter the last place team in La Liga. Powerborn.
Were we meant to look at going over and doing like a vlog of a game, maybe a Dortmund game or something like that. So we might, when things resume, and fans can go back to games, we might look into it as well.
Absolutely love it.
And vlog a game, that'd be cool.
I'm really hoping that a couple of Irish players do get, a couple of rumours and bits and bobs, transfer costs and stuff, to go over to Germany and take the risk. And because I think it's brilliant. It's a really good league. And if you're like, I feel like we were discussing in the video a couple of months back, when you're in England and you're a young player, you have to compete with all these young English players who are being tipped by the media to get the next role, to get the next contract, to be England's next best player. And they're all 18, 19, and they're getting 30 grand a week contracts, and then in their contracts, they're being forced to be the ones that are getting the game time in a way, even if some of them aren't good enough. They're the ones that are on the top of the list, and Irish players have to fight that, and it's really tough. Like you see with Troy Parrott, especially when Kane got injured, and there's players in there that are obviously on bigger contracts, now not necessarily English ones and stuff like that, but they're getting ahead of them. Wingers are getting ahead of them in up front. But if you're looking at Germany, I feel it's one of those leagues that if you're good enough, contracts, money doesn't come into it. You'll play, and they'll nurse you, and you'll be the player that you're supposed to be, and you'll hit the heights. I feel like Adam Ida, is he going to get a look in at Norwich next season? Do you know what I mean? Why not look into Germany, going on loan for a year, having a go at the Bundesliga, nothing to lose. Players have gone over and done really well. Like, for example, like just looking at Arsenal, Reece Nelson, a good example, because we're talking about strikers. He went over to Hoffenheim last year, and he was a key player for them last year, and he's been sitting on the bench and bit parts for Arsenal and been playing out of position for Arsenal. It's just unfortunate. Obviously, Arsenal's a tough team to get into, but I think young players, Irish players, should have a look at the Bundesliga and go over, and if they get a chance to take the risk, because it's a great league, and you get the opportunity if you're good enough, and you're not fighting these English players for spots. You'll be fighting German players, fair enough, but I feel that it's a little bit fairer. I think there's a little bit more fair play involved when it comes to picking players and stuff like that in Germany, and they've proven that from the players that they've blooded for the last couple of years, including British players. Like, no one took a punt on Sancho. Obviously, he cost $7 million. They gave him the number 7 jersey at Dortmund, but no one took a punt on him in England. Not even to loan. And I'm sure that he had a couple of options, but Germany were offering the best deal, and he took a huge risk by going over there. Went over there, and now he's considered, if not the best English player about there, the top 3 easily. Do you know what I mean? So it's a huge thing to go over. So I think Irish players should have a look, have a go, and see what happens. I'll stop ranting on radio now. I've been talking for like 2 minutes there straight, maybe more, maybe 5 minutes. I blacked out a little bit there in the middle when I was talking about the Bundesliga. And we're getting some comments, are we?
Yeah, hello, says me. Oh wait, again says Bundesliga has taken over Premier League this year as best league. Leipzig beat Spurs, Bayern beat Chelsea, and all German teams in Europa and Champions League qualified except Dortmund, who just lost out to PSG.
Yeah, it's very hard to compare the two leagues, because if Liverpool, like, so for example, if you're to put Liverpool or City up against Bayern Munich, it'd be a better team. Obviously, Chelsea are in the middle of a rebuild, so it's kind of like Chelsea are kind of that Borussia Mönchengladbach or even Leverkusen of that league, and you'd expect Chelsea to beat the likes of Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach, even though they're still pretty good teams. But I do agree with you, the fact that they're on the up and up, and they are going to be. I think they're the second best league in the world at the moment, the Bundesliga, and they weren't considered that for years. They weren't considered in the top 4 for years.
Goal.
So Diaby again, it seems, with the cross. Is it going to be a hat trick for Kai Havertz? No, it's not. Is that Bender? Is it? No, it's their right back. Is his name Wimmer? What's his
I'm
name?
trying to see the back of his name.
Wimmer or someone
Vieira.
give his name there quick. Weiser, that's it. Weiser, good right back. That he's fast. He actually played for
None the wiser.
He played for Bayern Munich a couple of years ago. Didn't quite make it. He was a winger at the time, but he's been doing well. That's Diaby. Diaby's had a fantastic game. He's set up 2 of the goals, and I think he went down for the free kick as well. So he's been really involved. He's got a huge season, and he's actually in my Bundesliga fantasy team. So I'm happy about that.
You actually have a Bundesliga fantasy team?
You actually don't. Of course, I have a Bundesliga fantasy team. I'm doing quite well, actually. I think I'm there's 11,500 people in one of the leagues I'm in, and I'm in the top 1,000, so I'm doing okay at the moment. I have Kai Havertz in my team as well, actually, so he's after bagging 2 buttes. So that's happy days. So Diaby 2 assists and Kai Havertz 2 goals. You should set one up, Paulie.
Yeah, no, well, maybe next season. That would be no point. Mark Meehan has his top 5 foreign players that have played in the Premier League.
Thierry Henry, Aguero, Virgil van Dijk.
Go on, yeah, Culture. Go on.
Am I missing out? Am I missing out a big one? Am I? I probably am.
Oh my god, that was terrible. You said what? Henry,
Aguero, Virgil van Dijk.
Are they gone since 1992? Is that? You're gonna say Premier League, yeah?
Oh yeah. The Premier League era, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
You could fire George.
You're putting Van Dijk in there again.
I am. I think he's fantastic. Maybe it is a little bit of Liverpool bias there, sure. But do you know what? I'll rephrase the question. I'll say top 5 foreign players that play in the Premier League that haven't played for the team I support: Aguero, Henry, Patrick Vieira. Ronaldo, obviously, and no. Jimmy Traore. No, sorry, he played for Liverpool. Who else? There's surely a Chelsea player there because they were so good back in the day. I do love Drogba, but I'm gonna go for. Oh, that is tough.
Is this your last one?
Yeah, I'm looking for one more. It's really tough.
Yes.
Kevin, can I put Kevin De Bruyne in? I'm putting Kevin De Bruyne in. He's such a player.
You don't have Bergkamp in there?
I love Bergkamp. I do. Like, Bergkamp is so good, and in my opinion, scored the greatest Premier League goal of all time.
Yeah, but the Invincibles.
I think, but that's why I have Henry in. I think
Wiltord.
I think Wiltord. Yeah, he wasn't that bad. Perez was a brilliant player as well.
Emmanuel Petit. Class.
I have 2 Invincibles in there. In fairness, don't I? In Vieira, I love Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira is such a good player.
You've only got Ronaldo, do you? Out of United ones.
Yeah, like I can't. Like, to be fair, all the best United players have been English. I think. Scholes.
Van Nistelrooy and Henry were unbelievable against each other. Back then when they were fighting against each other.
All the best. I think all the best. Oh, should have scored there. 3-1 to Bayern Leverkusen, and my bet has come through. I've told someone to put Kai Havertz's first goal scorer and to go Leverkusen +2, and so far so good. But the only reason I have left out some of the United players is all the best United players are English. Of all time, you have Scholes. If you can put Giggs in there, he's technically, he's British, so I can't really put him in there.
Can't.
So look, Scholes, Rooney, Giggs, Rio, Beckett. Sorry,
Eric Cantona.
Yeah, he could be in there as well. There's a lot of them. What about you, Paul?
Top 5. Oh, it's probably going to change. It would probably change tomorrow if I was picking today. That type of way.
Stop the defense, Paul, and just go for it with you.
No, I'm just saying.
Defense.
Top 5.
You're not allowed to pick any everything players, not that you would.
What do you mean? Thomas Gravison was absolutely world class. No. Henry has to be in there, even though what he did against us.
Ronaldo has to be in there as well.
Yeah, well, I think there are 2 inevitables that you just can't leave out.
Would you have Bergkamp in your 5?
Probably, because I've actually my first ever Everton game was against Arsenal, and he was playing, and he was just unbelievable. And when I first started watching football in '98, the World Cup, I think one of the first games I ever watched was that game, and he played against Argentina, and he scored that goal. He took it down on his thigh and like volleyed it into the other top corner. It was just, oh,
No.
what a player. And then, so what I've got two left. So hard.
Would you have Aguero in there?
So then, I would probably have Van Nistelrooy right now, ahead of Aguero. But that would obviously change once Aguero actually
Why
finishes
would
up.
you have Van Nistelrooy ahead of Aguero?
Because I don't think Thierry Henry would be as good without Van Nistelrooy.
You can't say that either, though. Like,
I don't think he would have been as good, because that Arsenal rivalry, Henry and Van Nistelrooy were the two top dogs at both clubs, and they were probably, other than maybe Barcelona and Real Madrid, are probably the top two in the world at that time.
yeah,
Definitely strikers,
yeah. Well, I understand, like where you come from. Obviously, the two strikers were in a way helping each other become better players. But I just feel that Henry was a far superior player to Van Nistelrooy, and I think
Yeah, but I'd say if you went back and looked at Van Nistelrooy's goals or something, he was ridiculous for the amount of time he was there, though, too.
anything Van Nistelrooy could do, Henry could do better. There's my quote.
Maybe in some ways.
Like, didn't Van Nistelrooy not only scored one goal for United outside the box?
Breaking news: Liam Brady just texted me back.
No way. So anyone who hasn't been up to date with Paul's social life, he was onto me today on WhatsApp saying that Liam Brady might be coming on the show, or hopefully after a phone call. Liam Brady didn't answer, so Paul was worried. He left him a 19-minute voice clip, and
3 minute voice note.
and stalked him from outside his house. And Liam Brady has finally got back. So happy days for Irish Football Fan TV and Paul. Liam Brady is back, and there's a man who earned his craft in Serie A. Speaking of foreign leagues.
Yeah, well, he just said, give me a day and time when you would like to do it. So happy days.
What is that?
Quality. Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. So we were on what? I just think Van Nistelrooy, and I think anyone who watched football back then would say Van Nistelrooy he is such a good finisher, and he was different class. But this is what I'm saying is, like, Aguero, when he finishes up, will probably rank ahead of him for me. But I'm trying to do it based on players that aren't playing right now.
But to be fair, Aguero is going to be finishing up next season, so you can nearly have him in there. Do you know, like Aguero.
Well, I would wait, but I will say that, I think. Well, actually, okay, you can win this one, because I seen the stat yesterday that Aguero has the most hat tricks in the Premier League. So
he met Shearer there like 2 years ago. I remember they were slagging Alan Shearer on Match of the Day. He was nearly crying.
But the only thing I will say about Aguero is he's injured a lot. Whereas, unlucky. Whereas,
fair share. Van Nistelrooy, he missed out on a whole year at United because he did this cruise ship. Remember that?
No. I think that was a year before. He was meant to sign, and then they didn't take the gamble.
A full year at United, though.
What?
That's him still missing out on a full year where he could have been in the Premier League.
Yeah, but I just think when Aguero gets in as well,
okay, it's opinions.
I'm like arguing with myself here in a way, because I want to put Aguero in, but I want to put Van Nistelrooy in. But I'm going to go with Van Nistelrooy just to stop all the yapping from me. So who have I got? I've got Henry, Bergkamp. What?
You Van Dijk in there as well.
I'm doing me whole. I have Van Nistelrooy. So
yeah.
What's that? That's 4 now, is it?
Yeah.
And then I haven't even put a defender in there, have I really?
You don't need to put a defender.
What?
You don't need to put a defender, really. It's a great question, by the way, Mark.
Yeah, it is. I think Evra as a left back came in and was brilliant, but he probably wouldn't get up there for me. I'm not doing that in any particular order, by the way. So it's Messi. It's Messi. It's Henry, Ronaldo, Bergkamp, Van Nistelrooy, and who am I going for? Oh my God, Drogba.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I think it is tough to do that one as well, especially on the spot, because there's so many good teams. Like in fairness, if you have any more questions, Mark, or anyone else out there wants to ask a difficult question about either the Premier League, Bundesliga, or even the Irish League,
God damn, Liam Brady throw me off there.
Liam Brady, he did. Ask Liam, top 5 foreign players.
There was actually a good one further up, and I kind of skipped over it. It was I think it was pick a squad outside. Pick your best squad that aren't in the top 6 at the moment, or something like that. Hang on, I think Mark actually picked it as well. I just hadn't clicked on it.
Okay, in goals, Foster.
Let me just find the question. Yeah, here.
I'll have to have a look at the top 6 because I've forgotten.
Okay, no, it's do a team of players outside the top 10 in the Prem this season, but you'd have to get a list of the.
I have the teams here, so that'll be
Premier League table.
That's grand. And can we pick a number of players from one team, or is there a limit on that? I wonder. So and Burnley count as well. So Burnley are in 10th, so I presume they do count. Do you know what we can do? So there's 11 teams there, right? Because of Burnley being in 10th.
One player off each team.
One player off each team. So if you're going
Tim Krul in goal.
What? Then you're leaving Pookie out.
Yeah, but there'd be better strikers playing for higher up teams.
Better be right.
If you pick Tim Krul in goal, then you don't have to worry about their shit team.
Why don't you pick Foster in goal and get rid of Watford there?
Because you have people like Jared De La Feu, who's absolutely unbelievable.
You have people like Zaha, who's going to get in there.
Yeah, they could both be on the wing.
I think there's a better winger than Jared De La Feu.
Didn't play for Barca though, did he?
Okay, so we're gonna go for. What I'm gonna do to save us some time here, and also to save my sanity and not to crack.
Richarlison gets in up front, by the way.
No, he does not. We're using that left back spot for Luca Digne. That's it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what? I'm just going to agree with you for the moment, just to save your blushes, because you're going to come across really stupid.
I think anyone watching this, a lot of people have actually said Richarlison's probably the best player to the top 6 on current form as well. Is
current form a thing, Paul? Is it?
Oh, but he is unbelievable. Yeah, how can he actually starts for Brazil? You're saying he can't get into this shit top 10 team.
He doesn't start for Brazil. He played in a couple of friendly games.
He starts for Brazil. He gets called to every squad as well.
He's in the squad. He doesn't start. Gabriel Jesus starts for Brazil. And when Neymar is injured, he might play. But he doesn't start for Brazil. If Brazil were picking their best team. Okay, sorry. I'm getting off topic here. We'll just go for this. So you're going for Tim Krul in goal. We'll go right back then for you. Go.
Max Aaron. Oh, he's plays for
Norwich. You've already ruined it.
What's his name? Who? I need the top, the other 10 teams, Premier League table. So we need can we pick centre backs?
It's up to you.
Well, you need to do it with me. Like, you can't just expect me to just pick a team and then you go, yeah, because you just keep moaning on everything I pick anyway.
But that's the thing. My team will be completely different to your team, right?
Are we not doing it together?
Well, I was going to do that, but I just really dislike you, so I might not.
Who plays right back for Crystal Palace now? Because Wan-Bissaka's gone.
Ward?
Actually, no, I've got it. West Ham, Zabaleta, no?
You okay? That's up to you, man.
What do you think?
I don't think it's good.
Why?
Because I would have someone like Anderson or Fornals in my team, or Declan Rice. God, I don't know.
I'm gonna kick you out. Hang on.
Or Mark.
See you later. What did you say?
I said Mark Noble.
He's shite.
Yeah, but like,
come on, okay. Get with the program here. Who plays right back for Southampton? What's his name? Cedric.
No, he plays for Arsenal now.
Oh, does he? When did he sign? That was a good sign.
January.
Bournemouth. Who plays right back for them? Villa. Who plays right back for them?
No. You have to put Jack Grealish in your team.
Sorry.
Look, you have to just admit, right, that you're not going to put Tim Krul in goals. That way you can put Max Aaron at right back.
Okay, but who goes in goals then?
Foster.
Dubravka.
Foster.
Right.
Foster and goal. Okay, so Watford is done. Right back, Max Aaron. Right?
Aaron's.
Aaron, excuse me. Left back, Luca Digne.
No.
Just for the moment.
No.
Moment. Just bear with me because I'm going to go for a 4-2-3.
No.
Oh,
if Richarlison isn't up top, we might as well end the broadcast.
Okay, fine. Just to keep the broadcast going, we'll have to pick another left back.
But it'd be easy. It'd be easy to pick another left back. Hang on, where the fuck is the table? Who plays left back for Burnley? Stephen Ward.
No, the left back.
I was joking.
Is it Charlie Taylor? He's not bad. We could put Dwight McNeil in. Actually, he played left back before.
He doesn't play left back though.
But he can.
Winger. We're not shoehorning. It's all about balance here. You know, you have to pick.
Shoehorn Richarlison in.
I'm not shoehorning him. He's there on merit.
You're shoehorning him in.
Shoehorning you out of this conversation now in a minute if you don't cop on.
It's great because I don't have to worry about this team because I know Liverpool will not be being picked in this team because they're not in the bottom half of the table, which is lovely. So you can go for whatever Everton player you want. So we'll go for Richarlison. We won't get there just yet because we still have to pick a left
Robbie
back.
Brady, left back.
Robbie Brady, left back. Perfect. I'm happy with that. Robbie Brady, left back. So centre backs, we can go with. I think Nathan Ake from Bournemouth would be a good shout.
Yeah.
And then the other shout, maybe Schär from Newcastle.
Did we pick anyone from Newcastle yet?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. I like
Schär?
that. Probably.
Better who plays for Southampton.
No, Schär is good.
Schär is good. Okay, so now we're going
we can put Højbjerg in midfield then off Southampton. Goal number 10 for Leverkusen.
Demirbay, the man who came from Hoffenheim. He's a very good player, wonderful left foot. Now he's been one of those players who hasn't really hit the heights for Leverkusen this year after a big money move from Hoffenheim, but he's a fantastic player. Would love to see him in the Premier League. He's a very, very good set piece taker and a very smart player. He can play anywhere across the midfield, 3 or 4, anywhere at all. He's a very good player.
He made the keeper look like a fool.
Yeah, that was his bad foot as well.
He looks about 40 as well in the face.
I think he's only about 28.
Yeah. Anyway, we were on to it. We had what?
A 4-3-3.
Who do we have in goal again?
We have Foster in goal because we want Max Aaron's right back.
Right. Yeah. Nothing cool.
So far we have Foster in goal, Max Aaron's right back. We have Ake, Schär in centre backs, and our left back is Robbie Brady.
At Burnley.
Getting our Irish content in there. Now, our 3 midfielders, so we're going to go for a 4-3-3. So, our 3 midfielders. No, do you know what? Will we go 4-4-2? It might be easier.
Yeah, you're really overthinking this, but yeah.
Man, it's a good question. So, we'll go 4-4-2. On the left wing, left midfield, we'll go Zaha, surely.
Yeah, I'll go with that, yeah.
On the right, we'll go for Felipe Anderson.
Does he play on the right, though?
He plays on the left, really, or he plays in the 10.
Yeah, Yarmolenko would be a better shout there, no?
He's crap, though.
Well, he can be good. He can be good when he turns it on. Fuck it, go for it.
Jack Grealish, okay, put Anderson on the right, even though he doesn't really belong there. I think he is left-footed, so he might be able to cut in and shoot. Grealish.
That's Yarmolenko.
Jack Grealish and Højbjerg as a midfielder.
No, Grealish isn't getting in.
You can't say that Richarlison deserves to be in there and then say that Jack Grealish does not deserve to be in there.
Mate, what planet are you living on?
Who's had a better season, Jack Grealish or Richarlison?
Richarlison, 100%.
I'm not a Villa fan. I'm just saying this.
Villa are sitting 19th. What are you on about?
That doesn't make a difference. We're picking a team of all these players.
You're telling me that Richarlison hasn't had a better season?
I'll tell you this right now.
Than Jack
Grealish. Villa didn't have Jack Grealish. Villa will be looking at the worst Premier League season of all time, topping that Derby one from back in the day. Jack Grealish gets in the team, man. I'm sorry.
No, he doesn't.
If you have Richarlison, I'm calling my card in for Grealish.
Oh, your red card, because it's
Yeah,
absolutely
I'm giving you a red card. I'm putting Grealish in. Højbjerg and Grealish are our midfield, so we have 2 up front. No, wait. Should we do? Who's the other team we have left?
Brighton.
We could put. Who's the midfielder for Brighton? Trossard. He's kind of a
Proper.
10. Proper. Or Aaron Moy. He's had a good year.
No, he's been shy. Has he not been injured for most of the season?
Oh, he's been very good. We'll put Proper in there, even though he's not great.
Like, there's actually people agreeing with your comments and somehow saying that Jack Grealish. Like, check out Richarlison's goals and assists, because you're talking nonsense about this.
Yeah, but that's just a YouTube compilation. And besides the fact that Jack Grealish's goals and assists have probably been better and more frequent.
Nonsense. He's sitting in 19th. He might have got to a cup final and got spanked in that too.
When was the last time Everton got to a cup final? No, actually, do you know what? Don't ask that, because we're getting off topic and I'm being wound up. Jack Grealish is a team. Don't worry what Paul says. He has a grudge. He's been unbelievable in the Premier League this year. I don't even agree that Richarlison should be in the team, to be honest.
He's sitting in 19th.
I think our top 2, right? I think Luka Dink should play left back, and our top 2 should be Danny Ings. Can't argue that.
Well, you've already got Højbjerg.
No, I'm going to take out Højbjerg, right? You're the one making this awkward, not me. You know what? Grealish and Proper, for some reason Proper's in there, are going to be our midfielders. And
it was just a name I mentioned.
Richarlison can go up front for you, but who's your other person going to be? Danny Ings.
Aaron Connolly.
Danny Ings. Yeah, you can try Aaron Connolly in there. He's better than Richarlison. Good idea. So Danny Ings and Aaron.
I didn't say that. Claire Murray.
You're too awkward, man. You're way too awkward. I think I'm being reasonable here. And
you're not. If I was actually to put this out and show other people, Richarlison has a better season.
I challenge you. I am having an open challenge with you. I will put together a 11 of a player from each team, right? From the bottom 10, from 10 down to 20. And my team, you can put it up on Instagram. You can do those little voting thingamajigs. My team will beat your team by 20% easy. It'll be.
Let's do it.
It'll be a riot. Like, it'll be disgraceful how much better my team will be than yours.
Let's do it.
I'll do it. I will happily do it. I just hope that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Well, Barry Scott knows what it's all about.
Yeah, Barry Scott, you're absolutely right and correct, 100%. But football-wise, you have to put him in that team, and I think it's only fair.
And how can you not put Richarlison in that team? Like, nonsense.
Because I have Luka Digne. I think having Luka Digne at left back is reason enough to take Richarlison out to strengthen up the back line. I'm not saying that Richarlison is a bad player. I'm saying there's better options.
No,
the front three, the team that I picked.
Who else you put? Okay, Danny Ings and Richarlison up front. Take Højbjerg out, and what? Davy Proper and Jack Grealish.
You said Davy Proper, and now you're slating the team. Okay, do you know what? I'm not going to discuss this with you anymore. Do you know why? Because you're going to steal some of my ideas. My ideas of my team that's going to smash your team when we do it on Instagram. Okay. Are you nervous?
No,
I want you to have it. I don't want you to have it as like, oh, these are two teams that people went for. I want you to say, this is Paul's team, and he is happy to put his name on this team, right? and then say, this is Gary's team, and he's going to win this by a landslide. All right?
A landslide, yeah. When he has Jack Grealish ahead of Richarlison. Okay. What about the rest of the Villa team?
Sorry, to be fair, the only other player I would think of putting in there out of the Villa team is Mings. Tyrone Mings has had a good year, in fairness to him, defensively. Unfortunately, he's been part of a team that has conceded a lot of goals. But anytime I watch him, individual performances have been very good. Just stop there for a second. Anyone who is watching the Bundesliga game and is also listening to us, there's a fella coming on called Paulinho. They're number 7. They bought him in from Brazil. I think they bought him for about 25 million, and he is a very, very, very good player. They have another player coming on called Alario. He's an Argentinian striker. He's not your standard Argentinian striker. I think that does enough to explain him. He's a bit scrappy, but he's a good finisher as well. He's a very good penalty taker. But Paulinho is one to watch for the future as well. Just once again, coming back to that, blooding in these young players. They have another player called Palacio, and I actually been arguing so much with Paul now, I actually don't even realise if he's on or not. But if he is, then keep an eye out for Ezequiel Palacio. Another
good healthy debate, Garry.
He did no, absolutely. I'm all for a good healthy debate, but as long as you know at the end of the debate you're getting spanked. Like I'm taking my wooden spoon out, Paul. I'm sticking you over my knee, and I'm letting you know I'm here. To be honest,
the wooden spoon.
The wooden spoon. You should know that as a nostalgia merchant, the nostalgia merchant that you are. You should know all about the wooden spoon.
Yeah, well, Jack Grealish for me, just no. Okay, he might get in the team, but there's no way he's had a better season than Richarlison, is what I'm saying.
He has.
Look at the league table, mate.
I'm sorry, but what you're saying is Everton have had a better league season than Villa, which they have. You can't say Richarlison has had a better league season than Grealish and then say, look at the league table.
Well, how come he hasn't got into the England squad?
Well, I'm not Gareth Southgate.
But Richarlison's got into the Brazil squad.
Grealish would walk the Brazil squad. No,
look, we're just gonna go around in circles here. So, what's the team right now? We've got the goalkeeper and the back four sorted.
I'm discussing your team right now, not mine, because my team's a secret until we have it up on Instagram.
Don't worry about my team. I don't give a shit about it, really.
Well, you better start giving a shit, Paul, because I'm coming for you.
I have, what's his name? So we have.
You have.
You're confusing me now. So we have in goal, Foster, right back Max Aarons, centre backs Schär and Nathan Ake off Bournemouth, and then Robbie Brady's kind of shoehorned at left back because I can't think of any other real good left backs, to be fair.
You don't want to shoehorn Luca Dini in there because God forbid he's not a left back.
No, because you have a fella who's up front with how many goals did that lad say? Hang on. Your man put it in the comments there a minute ago.
Is this
Richarlison has 10 goals, 3 assists.
And how many does Jack have?
7 goals, 6 assists. They both have 13 goal involvements. You're talking about goals. You want your striker to score goals.
But you want your midfielder to do all of that and more.
Yeah, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. You could pick someone off Brighton or something for left back.
Well,
but you have to have Richarlison up top.
A midfielder who plays for a worse team is doing better for us than a striker who plays for a better team. Now, that's just what you said. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to sway any decision at all there. But that's all I'm saying is that a midfielder who plays for a crap team, no offense, Villa fans, but at the moment not going great, or a striker who plays for a less crap team, no offense, Everton fans, you know what I'm trying to say, is that what you're trying to say? That it's neck and neck, but you're saying that Jack Grealish can't be in there, Richarlison has to be in there.
Richarlison has to be in there. Goals with his games.
Grant, does Danny Ings have to be in there then?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone else in that bottom half have more goals than Richarlison?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What about Timo Pukki?
He wouldn't have more goals than Richarlison.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you going to Google it?
No. Well, you want me to?
I would love you to Google it and just see how many goals Timo Pukki
Premier
has.
League table. Let's go. Top scorers.
So Pukki has 11.
What?
So Pukki has 11 goals. I just checked it there.
Let me see. (2019-20 season). Oh, he does. You're right. Dominic Calvert-Lewin actually has more goals than both of them.
So you're right. So go for Pukki and Ings up front. Good idea. Good idea.
I'm not letting go of Richarlison. He's so good. He's one of them players who's just a game changer.
Is Richarlison okay? So here's a question: as someone who does like Richarlison and has a crazy Evertonian fan, and that is you, was Richarlison worth the 50 million?
Yes.
He paid off that 50 million already.
Yeah, I think so.
Was Van Dijk worth 75 million?
Yeah, in today's market.
Was Richarlison worth 50 billion in today's market?
Yeah.
How much do you think, if you were to sell Richarlison, how much would you want for him as an Everton fan?
150 million.
Who's a better striker? Who's a better footballer? Firmino, Richarlison, or Gabriel Jesus?
Firmino.
The best footballer of them is Firmino. Then who?
I think Jesus is probably a better finisher, but I think Richarlison is a better footballer.
Okay. Who would you rather have in an Everton jersey, Richarlison or Gabriel Jesus?
Richarlison.
Who would you rather have in an Everton jersey, Declan Rice or Jack Grealish?
Jack Grealish, because he didn't actually get capped. I hate Rice more than anybody.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that little.
If Declan Rice says to you, I am Declan Rice, hello, Paul, and I want to come on to Irish Football Fan TV and just explain myself because you just keep battering me on these videos, what would you say?
I don't really talk about him until he's brought up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Anytime he is brought up, you'll say whatever.
He's a rat. Everyone knows.
But if he said to you, I want to come on and I want to talk to you, what would you say?
Go away.
No, you wouldn't.
I have zero time for him. I actually blocked him off Twitter so I wouldn't have to see his tweets.
I'd say
him.
Huh?
Yeah, but it was so I didn't see him, so I didn't get involved in any of the shite when he posts stuff. Because you see so many people, writing to him, calling him Judas and all that other stuff, which they are right. But I just don't. I knew if I got drunk or something, I'd end up start slating him and it just look stupid then, So I just blocked him.
He's like that drunk ex, isn't he?
What?
He's like that drunk ex. Can't believe you left.
Yeah. Someone actually made a good point there that Calvert-Lewin is better than Richarlison under Ancelotti. I don't know. They're kind of two different players. Richarlison does a lot more of the donkey work, to be fair.
I agree with that. You're right. Paul, the word Richarlison and donkey do go side by side. I think that Calvert-Lewin is a better footballer than Richarlison. Maybe not technically gifted, but I think he's more important to that Everton team than Richarlison is.
Now, if you said that to any other Everton fan, they disagree as well.
You think?
Just saying. But let's finish this off anyway, because it's kind of dragged on a little bit more than we probably would have. Is the match over?
The match has just ended. Bayer Leverkusen 3 and Bremen 2. Bremen 1, excuse me. So Leverkusen are going for that fourth place Champions League spot in the Bundesliga. Bremen, unfortunately, look in a bit of trouble in the bottom three at the moment. So they need to start pulling their pants up and getting out of that, because they're a Bundesliga team. Bremen are a Bundesliga team. They need to be in the Bundesliga. So it is a bit strange seeing them down there at the moment. It was like last year. I remember watching it last year, and Hamburg went down. Maybe it was 2 years ago when Hamburg went down. It's just weird seeing Hamburg in the second division in the Bundesliga too. So the teams like that, I remember when Blackburn went down. I was like, what? How did Blackburn go down? So it's kind of like that in a way. So I hope they don't go down. The 3-1, 2 Kai Havertz goals and a Demirbay goal for Leverkusen, and they looked like they were cruising the whole game. They did a great job. But do you have a question, Paul?
Chris Wood has 11 goals for Burnley.
Chris Wood. You're right. Chris Wood can go in there instead of Richarlison. Good idea.
I'm just saying, because we have obviously Robbie Brady at left back. I'm sure if we actually did our research on other left backs and even probably right back, we'd probably get better players in there. Like
I don't think we're a better player than Max Aarons, personally.
What?
I don't think we could beat Max Aarons personally, right back.
Well, you could put Todd Cantwell in midfield as well, and then move right back there. Do you know what I mean? Zabaleta. I really don't think you shoehorned Anderson in there. So I'm sure if you looked at your man, Saint Maxime for Newcastle.
Saint Maximin, yeah, he could go in there. He's a bit of a. I think he needs another year or two to bed in the Premier League, but I think he could be a good player. We could have Seamus Coleman right back and just take Richarlison out altogether. Irish Football Fan TV would rather Richarlison than Seamus Coleman. There's your headline. Go on, Paul. Who would you rather have on your team, Richarlison or Seamus Coleman?
Richarlison now. Seamus is in and out of the team.
I'm just saying, for your Premier League team, you'd rather Richarlison than Seamus Coleman.
I'd rather Richarlison than any other Everton player, regardless.
Well,
Crystal Palace. James McCarthy?
Zaha.
No, you'd rather have Zaha over James McCarthy? Now I'm gonna do this back to you.
All I'll say is I cannot wait to see your team, because if you put James McCarthy on left wing, I'll be laughing.
Left wing.
Yeah, because that's where Zaha's gonna go.
Yeah, no. Well, let's get that team ready then.
I'm gonna get my team ready. I'm gonna do it now on my phone, and I'm gonna send it to you, and you can do all the other bits, because
are we staying on this for any longer, or are we jumping off? It's been nearly 2 hours.
I need to go to the toilet, so I might do that. So we might leave it. I just want to say thanks to everyone who did comment and watched along with the Bundesliga as well. If you ever want us to do this again, you can let us know, and be alert and aware of what is happening on the Instagram page, the Irish Football Fan TV Instagram page, because Paul is about to get hockeyed with his terrible team, which I'm really looking forward to, because we had a couple of arguments today, but I actually do feel that this one is one I'm going to win.
Well, I actually have to get back onto Liam Brady to talk to him. So yeah. I'm going to get on to him. I'm going to actually leg it up to the shop. But yeah, as you said, to everyone who joined in the comments and actually made it quite fun, really appreciate you guys getting involved. And maybe we might do a football phone-in maybe on a Monday night per week, and we'll give people the code to be able to come in and join us, and we'll have our own bit of fun with them. So yeah.
One more thing. On behalf of everyone at Irish Football Fan TV, we are sorry for Paul's opinions. He doesn't mean it. He just gets weird sometimes.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow Garry. What was it? Current Garry?
You don't have to follow. Don't worry about me. I'm okay.
Why?
It doesn't matter. I
don't like people following you.
No, I don't mind. At Garry Kern 92, or is it just Garry Kern on Instagram? And Garry Kern 92 on Twitter.
That's what I was asking you.
Sorry, Garry Kern 92 on Twitter, and then it's just Garry Kern. 2 R's in my first name, 2 R's in my second name.
Yeah, well, and look, if you guys want us to do more videos like this, let us know, because we have the setup to do it now, and it's quite easy to do now. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you all very, very soon. Stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you.